Hello and welcome to Men of the Den. My name's Eric, and it's a little late on Thursday, but this video is technically for Friday. I'm coming to you live tonight because my husband has taken my goddamn camera, and I can't record separately and upload later. So I'm coming to you live instead. I'm here to do question and answer with you guys. A bunch of you have submitted questions this week. A bunch of the guys have been answering them, and it's my turn to share with you my answers. So here we go. Jake asks, do you guys go to Comic-Cons, and what do you look forward to at them? I have been to Comic-Cons in DC, Baltimore, New York, and I've worked at them. I've gone hang out, and I have never done cosplay at them, but I love to see the cosplay people. At Awesome Con here in DC, I've actually been more frequently working a booth for the public library where we register people for library cards, and we do awesome, hilarious pictures with the characters from books and comic books to promote our book and comic book collections. So yeah, Awesome Con is super fucking fun. You should absolutely come to DC, go to Awesome Con. It's a lot of fun. And when I went to New York for New York Comic Con, long time ago, I would go and look and try and find the the kind of out there, fringy, occulty, weird magic, supernatural, dark shit. Alan Moore, obviously, Hellblazer-y stuff and whatever else I could get my hands on. But yeah, that was my jam. That was a lot of fun. I don't go to Comic Cons as much, just of my own accord. I haven't really been as much into reading comics lately, but everyone's got their own jam. I've been on a nonfiction kick lately, so comics just aren't the thing. So yeah, but occasionally we'll pick one up. I picked up the new Black Panther. I thought that was really awesome. Ta-Nehisi Coates is great. If you haven't read it, totally recommend it. So yeah, Comic Cons are fun. You should totally go. Jack Edwards asks, Eric, have you ever been to the UK? If so, what did you think? If not, would you like to go? Yes, Jack, I have been to the UK twice. I have been once on a trip just to London, and I had a great time there. I stayed with a friend in Vauxhall, and she was a ton of fun to hang out with. Thought it was kind of crazy that people would go to nightclubs before work, because that was a thing that people did. And the clubs would close at like 10 and then reopen at 3 in the morning because it was a different day. I don't understand that at all. It's like you go to a nightclub, it closes at 2 in the morning, and you go home. Like, I don't understand partying at 3 in the morning. It just doesn't get me. But I also have been to Manchester, Cardiff, Aldershot, back to London. Manchester was a lot of fun. The Gay Village is a lot of fun. I did not hang out with Aaron because I didn't know him at the time. But next time I go back, I'm sure that there will be a next time. I will most certainly try to hit Manchester and hang out with my buds. Yeah, I met Aaron in Florida. But yeah, I love the UK. Cardiff was super cute. We went and saw the Torchwood stuff at the Millennium Plaza, and we went to the Eagle, which was very uneagly, but it was still fun. They had like a video karaoke night. I don't know, it was weird, but Cardiff was cute. Brain's beer is good, and I would totally love to go back to the UK. Absolutely. I need to make it to Scotland. Maybe I'll go up for Bear Scots one of these times. Don't know, but it's definitely on the list. Josh Dodge asks, if you could be any Disney princess, which one would you be and why? Well, duh, I'm Belle. And if you don't know anything about me, watch Beauty and the Beast. That bitch is into books. I'm totally Belle. Get that bitch a library. Bitches love libraries. Jay asks, what do you actually and honestly think of Donald Trump? No tea, no shade. I think he's a terrible person, and I have no qualms in saying that. I think that he's impulsive and destructive. He cannot take criticism, and he doesn't understand himself. I don't think that he's very self-reflective. Um, a lot of the people that have met him and tried to get into his head to understand him have kind of walked away, you know, left wondering because they don't understand. He's an enigma. He's a cipher. People project a lot of things onto him, and he does the exact same thing for other people. So he's a terrible person in many ways. He holds a lot of racist, xenophobic views, and uh, I I can understand why some people are attracted to that because they're fearful of people they don't understand. But it's just it's just a fucking mess. Um, I'm looking forward to next Tuesday. Preferably a landslide victory against him. But vote your conscience, people. Gay Republicans out there, probably some who watch this show, and I I don't understand your thinking, gay Republicans. I read Rich Toffel's book Party Crasher back in I think the 90s, late 90s when that came out to try to understand it, and it just felt really hollow and shallow to me. And I know Rich works here at some church in, Thomas Circle or something, but I've never met him, and I'd be curious to know what his thoughts are about Donald Trump. I think that a lot of Republicans have been kind of wrestling with themselves about it. I mean, this week's This American Life was this amazing story about Republicans in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and about how they're very divided. They're very, very divided in how they're looking at this election. And a lot of it comes down to race and immigration and this concept of nationality. And it just it doesn't make any sense to me because I kind of grew up with this whole, the great American melting pot thing from Schoolhouse Rock. And, I look at the people that I work with, and the immigrants in my community here in DC. We have tons and tons of them. And, people, all these different faith traditions, like every faith tradition in the world is in DC. It's just, I can't imagine these people, you know, I can't imagine going attacking these people. It makes no sense to me. It just is bizarre. Um, yeah, and it's even more fucked up. Is like I've known people who've like kind of fallen into white supremacy. Like two people I know of that I've kind of excised from my life that got like white supremacist tattoos, and they talked about how it was like they felt like they belonged somewhere. And it's just like, I don't understand you anymore. I don't know who you are as a person. This makes no sense. Like, what in the fuck are you doing? So I think that there's a lot of deep rooted fear, especially among white people, because they're not on top anymore. 2012 election of Mitt Romney and Barack Obama was like, that was like the wake up call that, white Christian America was not going to be like on top anymore. And the Republicans saw it and they tried to counteract it and they couldn't. And now they've just fallen deeper down the hole, and it's just a mess. It's a total fucking mess. I have a lot of opinions. I have a lot of opinions on the election. If you follow me on Facebook, which you're welcome to follow me on Facebook. I won't necessarily add everyone as friends, but you're certainly welcome to follow. Um, I talk about this shit a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Living in DC just kind of numbs me to things, but this is deeply terrifying, and having grown up in a very white enclave in southern Ohio, it really hits home a lot. My family was pretty racist, and I could see these kinds of things like cropping up, and I haven't really talked to people about it in my family. Rather not. Most of my family's Democratic, so there's an element of that there that gives me high hopes that there's not a lot of wrestling that they're going through, but I don't even know where I was going with that. But like having grown up in, a 99% white town, I can kind of get where white people are freaking out, but I haven't lived that life in a very long time, and I haven't been scared of people ever like that. I was scared of white people who wanted to attack me, so I got away from them, and hopefully, I will never have to see that kind of thing again. But yeah, this election's a total fucking cluster fuck of fuckery. Yeah, I'm done with that question. Thank you for asking that. I appreciated getting that off my chest, but yeah, no tea, no shade, no lemonade, no racist haterade. I'm over it. John asks, who's your favorite wrestler? If you did not say John Cena, then you're wrong. I don't have a favorite wrestler. I don't watch wrestling. I watched it when I was a kid, and I liked Roddy Piper. He was pretty fucking cool because he wore a kilt, and he was in They Live, which is a great fucking movie. So I'm gonna say Roddy Piper. John Cena is cool. I love the stuff that he's been doing, like the political ads and like the crazy fuckery he's been doing online, and the fact that he's a meme. But I don't know. I think Roddy Piper. So I'll go with that. Colin Faye Edinburgh says, "Cake or death? Cake, of course." Favorite Pokemon? My favorite Pokemon is shit. That is tough. Fearow? I think Fearow is my favorite. And don't hate on me because it's like, the it's just a minor evolution of a bird type. But I mean, like, I like the Fearow, with its dragon maneuver and everything. And like, I just like the look of it. It's like very powerful and aggressive looking. I don't know. Fearow. What's your favorite terrible 90s TV show? 90s TV show that's terrible? I don't know. Mama's Family? That was more like 80s. It wasn't terrible. That show was fucking brilliant. Um, what I watched a lot of was ER. I watched a lot of ER in the 90s. And that is when I fell in love with Alex Kingston, who then became River Song on Doctor Who. And I was like, oh my God, it's Alex Kingston. And my husband was like, who the fuck is Alex Kingston? I'm like, she was on ER forever. So I'm going with ER. Thank you, Colin. Chester asks several questions. Favorite ice cream? All right, Chester, you're one of those people that travels around the country. You need to go to Cincinnati. Grater's Ice Cream, Graeters, Grater's Ice Cream, and get the black cherry chocolate chunk. It is fucking incredible. It is the best ice cream in the world. I'm not even joking. It is unbelievable. And the chocolate, what they do is they make this ice cream at Grater's in this old French ice cream press machine, right? And so they chill the sides of it, and they pour the hot chocolate, liquid melted chocolate into the French press to chill on the sides, and then they break it out with a wooden spoon into big long chunks. Oh my God, it's unbelievably good. That's my favorite ice cream, black cherry chocolate chunk from Grater's. Chester says, what is one move someone can do that will get you hard? Kissing, biting on the neck, nipple play, etc. I don't know. It's more difficult these days. The neck is definitely an erogenous zone, but I occasionally have like weird erogenous zones, like the inside of my elbow, like, or I don't know, like my thigh. I don't know. It's like right on the thigh, not like inner thigh or like under weird, just like right there. I don't know, but the inside of the elbow was like the weird one. It just like happened. It was like just like that. I don't know. I have not been able to recreate that. I don't know why that worked. It just was a thing that happened once or twice. So if you can't tell, I'm a little sick right now. I'm like sniffling. I've got something, and so if you hear me sniffling, it's because I've I'm moderately sick. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see I post this picture. I'm like, I've been really feeling the hit today, and I'm gonna get some fucking Chinese soup here after I do this video. Chester's last question. So you are mid-season, everything's going great. What's the finishing move that will finally push you over the edge? Um, the neck. I think the neck is probably the thing that does it usually. Yeah, just a nice hard right there vampire bite. I dig it. Steve asks, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Um, I would go with the former of 100 duck-sized horses, because those things are small and they weigh not very much. And I can't imagine that horses would have either enough bite power or stomping power at that weight to actually hurt you, even in a swarm. So, but a horse-sized duck would absolutely be able to hurt the shit out of you. Devry asks, what is something that makes you nostalgic? And what does it remind you of? Oh man, I have a bunch of t-shirts from high school and college and whatever. Like my t-shirt collection goes back to the 90s, and I'm not even joking. I actually have stuff that's dated like 1995, 1996. And so like 20 plus years of t-shirts, and I don't like to get rid of them. The Lollapalooza t-shirt I think is probably the best one. It's like 1995 Lollapalooza. It was Smashing Pumpkins and the Breeders and the Beastie Boys and Hole, and oh my fucking god, it was just an amazing day. Absolutely amazing day. And I think that that was the day that I saw Maggie Estep perform at the spoken word poetry tent run by MTV, I think. And Maggie Estep, my heart leapt out of my chest because she was absolutely fucking amazing. She's part of that whole New Yorican poetry scene, and I just completely fell in love with her. And her album No More Mr. Nice Girl is just amazing, absolutely fucking amazing. So yeah, that Lollapalooza T-shirt just takes me right back to that moment of being in that space and feeling those people, and it's just I liked the 90s. I liked being an MTV grunge kid, alternative kid. Yeah. Glenn asks, why do you think that men find it so difficult to be monogamous? Well, Glenn, I'm glad you asked. There is a great book called Sex at Dawn that you should totally go look at that looks at these myths that we've constructed up around sex and sexuality and relationships and monogamy and why those things persist and whether or not they are a part of our primate nature or whether they're just social conventions and what kind of biological imperative that they serve. I mean, yeah, social conventions don't necessarily, you know, stem directly from biological things, though many of them do. Most of them are meant to make us live longer so that we work together with each other and we don't kill each other and things like that. But non-monogamy is one of those things that they talk about in Sex at Dawn, and they talk about it as a means of constantly replenishing the population because uh, females when they are impregnated are just off the table for 9 months basically. We have a long gestation period, as primates, and but men can go and knock up another woman and another woman and another woman, and they just don't have to stop, right? So there's an element there of like seed spreading, genetic material spreading that's a part of that habit of non-monogamy. And you see this in other primates like bonobos and chimpanzees and things like that, where casual sex is very common, and males don't necessarily mate for life. Males and females don't mate for life. So there's definitely that an element of that in there that kind of drives non-monogamy among males. And it's also why females may have more of a tendency to want to desire monogamy so that they stay with a good breeding partner. And so you see these studies about how women are attracted to men who are taller or have different kinds of physiques, because they either complement or change off genetic characteristics that they have themselves or that are inherited from their genealogical line. There's a lot of different kind of biological reasons, and I think that primarily non-monogamy is a biological thing. It's definitely a social thing too. We do have, open poly, whatever the hell, social conventions and people that are serially monogamous and whatever. But I think that the biological determination and factor in non-monogamy is probably the culprit there. Carlos asks, how do you react when someone flirts with you via activities you don't enjoy? As in, keeps talking about fucking even though you don't really enjoy that or do it readily, or talks about making you his boy when you're more of a daddy type. So you're finding yourself in a situation that's kind of like counterintuitive to your own personal kinks, but someone just keeps flirting with you anyways. That is a tough question. I don't know. Sometimes I go with it and sometimes I don't. It just depends on the person and the situation. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I've I've taken to exploring things more, just trying to like being open to people. I was very anti kink for a very very long time, and this this led to a lot of different kind of weird personal rifts. And over the years, I don't know, maybe I've just gotten more used to being around it. I think that part of that was part of it is that I was fearful of it because I wasn't around it as much. And that kind of ties back to the earlier thing about growing up all white and like going to places where it wasn't all white. Anyways, getting acclimated to being around kink, you kind of have to wade in that water before you can get into it. But I mean, for the longest time, like, there were people that were, trying to get with me that I was definitely not into what they were trying to get into. Um, I don't know. It's okay to tell someone like, look, I'm not really into that kind of thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with being like bluntly honest with someone. You can let people down gently and tell them, oh, it's not really my scene, but I'm glad you asked, because maybe it could have been, but maybe there's something else that you can connect with, or if you're just not feeling it, just say, thank you for saying that. I just would rather not. I think that's totally fine. I'm gonna take one quick break to step away, and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm really sorry. I hate to cut out in a live show like this, but I had to blow my nose really, really desperately. I am sick, people. Um, but I'm here for you. I'm here to answer your hard hitting questions. Carlos also asks, some of you, won't say which ones, have very nice rear ends. How do you guys feel about guys focusing on one body part, even if just for a little while? Talking about guys who say hi and then immediately start drooling with your butt or your belly or beard, so on. How do you react when you feel like a steak dinner in front of wolves? Oh, God. I had this conversation with Spencer back forever ago because I didn't always used to look like this. I mean, I'm almost 300 pounds now, and that's not the weight that I was for a very long time. I was more around 120 when I graduated high school, and when I was in college, I kind of jumped up to 180. I mean, I'm the biggest now that I've ever been, and it's not because I've intentionally done that. It's mostly just because I've got bad habits and I eat a lot of food and I'm lazy. So, but the thing is that when I was a young, skinny kid going to dance clubs in the city and like nobody would pay any fucking attention to me, like dating. Now that I'm in the bear scene because I got a great big belly and, people like my butt, I actually get attention. So I have like this kind of weird love hate relationship with my own body. And I think I've talked about this before. Like, I like my belly. I think it's a good asset, and it's definitely been something that has drawn people to me that I'm attracted to. But I also know that like I'm pushing diabetes at this point, and I need to like chill the fuck out, like cut down the sugar, stop drinking all the beer and the booze, and like work on me a little bit. And I've been very reluctant to do that because I get the action as a result. So it's this weird, conflicting internal passions. It's like I want to get play, but I don't want to be awful. I don't want I don't want to have a body that's failing. So I need to find the middle ground in all of this. Blah. I don't mind being a sex object, is what I'm saying. I actually am falling more in love with being a sex object. That's why I've been buying the shorter and skimpier swimwear. And I do enjoy wearing it, even though I have very few occasions to do so. I do like that when people appreciate me for my body because I feel like my body was very neglected. I feel like people didn't love me for my body, and they didn't love me for my mind either, for that matter. But um, yeah, I don't know. I appreciate it when it happens. I don't think it happens as often, really, but yeah, it happens sometimes. So there, yeah. Jake asks, "How do you celebrate Halloween, and do you dress up?" I did not celebrate Halloween this year because I was completely wiped out from going on a trip. In the past, as a pagan, I have gathered together with my pagan friends to go dance around fires in the night. Um, that is a thing that we do. Calling up the dead and, saying our thanks to them, for doing what they did for us, helping us get us to where we are today, building the world that we live in, and, making the sacrifices that got us to where we are. Honoring the beloved dead is a thing that I have done many, 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 many times, and I've got a recording of it on my SoundCloud. I think if you go and check that out, there's a track that you can listen to. That's like prayers and names, and almost all of the names in there are all like queer people. I used to do. I used to keep like a list of all the queer people that had died in that year. I had a Pinterest board of obituaries, and it just got really, really fucking dark with all of the child suicides and transgender murders, and it's just like it was really difficult to keep processing that because you see it every fucking day. There's like more and more. I mean, I feel like it's slowed down in some ways, that, you know, I'm seeing less of it, but I don't know if it just means that I'm just not looking for it anymore. I don't know. But I used to kind of keep track of the dead and, give thanks to them at Halloween, Samhain, Sabine, and, you know, do rituals with crazy pagan fairies. um, did I dress up? I've dressed up many, 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 many times. I've done lots of stuff. I do like dressing up. I think the costumery is a ton of fun. Though I kind of push most of my costumery towards Pride. I like to dress up for the festival and the parade and go marching, but I don't know. I just feel like I haven't really been connected to any particular groups who want to do that much lately. So, I either of those things. I haven't really been connected to a ritual group. I haven't been connected to a community group to do pride stuff to dress up. So, eh, it's been off the table this year. Maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see. Justin asks, "Hey guys, long-time lurker but never asking a question. Are you size queens? How do you feel knowing that most bears aren't large where it counts? Have you ever met any bears who are?" Well, that's very kiss and tell. Um, I am not a size queen. There needs to be something to work with, but it doesn't have to be, you know, of unusual size. I'm not equipped to handle unusual size. Um, truth moment, I've had surgery. I had rectal surgery several years back, and I can't take huge. Okay, I just can't. It's physically impossible. And I know this TMI, but whatever. Sometimes people just can't take that. So, you know, for those who can't, there are other people who will fit, and that's fine. Um, and as for people that are not, well endowed, it just depends on what it is that they're interested in doing sexually. I mean, maybe they're bottoms, maybe they are. Maybe they're not into like topping, but maybe they really like getting blown, and that's fine. So what? People have their own personal sexual preferences and proclivities, and people who come up short find ways to make things work, and I like finding out how that works. So yeah, there you go. Um, do do do. Lionel asks, and this is my last question: the most embarrassing thing that you've ever done on a vacation? Okay, this is gonna be super gross, and please don't hate me. Feel free to turn the video off if you don't want to hear this. The most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me while I was on a vacation, I was traveling back. So I was in Boston, and I was like, I'm in Boston. I never had clam chowder, so like, go to the airport restaurant, and I'm like, okay, I gotta have the Boston clam chowder just so that I know what it's like. So I had it and I ate it. Got on the plane, and flight back is hours, and so I'm on the plane, fine, no big deal, and I get back to the airport, BWI, and I have to take the long ass bus, and if I miss the bus, it's like in half an hour until the next one. So I like run and I catch the bus, and I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, I have to go to the bathroom. So I get to the Greenbelt metro station, and I still have like another 45 minutes to go. I'm like, maybe if I just get on the train, I'll make it. Maybe I'll make it all the way back to Columbia Heights, and I can just go to the Starbucks or whatever. And while I was sitting there, the train was parked at the fucking station for like 15 minutes, and it didn't move. And I was just sitting there, and I shit myself. I totally shit my pants while I was sitting on the train. I was trying not to, and I just couldn't help it. And I went up to the station manager, and I was crying. I was crying so hard, and I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom so bad. She's like, oh my God, okay, come on with me. And, we go to the bathroom. Thankfully, I had like my fucking suitcase with me, and, I could change. But it's just like, it was so fucking messy. Oh my God, it was so bad. It was so utterly bad. I was changing. So, like, they take me into the back bathroom of the metro. It's like a staff only bathroom or something, right? Nobody actually uses this bathroom. It's just, it's just for staff. And she saw how like in distress I was. She took me back there, and I locked the door and everything. And it's just like it's like everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. And I'm just like scraping things off as best as I can, and like crying. and I'm covered in poop, and I'm covered in tears, and I'm like washing my underwear in the sink, and my pants are just covered in shit. And it was a nightmare from hell, and I'm trying desperately to like clean myself in a metro train station bathroom best as I could. I had poop in my shoes. It was it was fucking terrible. So that is the worst fucking thing that ever happened to me on vacation. I made the mistake of eating clam chowder and then not giving myself enough time to go to the bathroom when I got back at the other end of the flight. And I have never ever done that again. It's like every time I get off the flight, I like run to the bathroom just in case. I'm never doing that again. And I'm sorry that I made you listen to that terrible, 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 terrible story. Thank you all for bearing with me. Thank you all for submitting your questions. I really appreciate when you guys do this. I enjoyed doing this little live video for you all. I hope you enjoy it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. And I'll see you all next Friday. Cheers.